As Michigan's premier film school, MPI has been providing hands-on training for over 2 decades here in our 20,000 square foot studio with sound stages, editing labs, and sound editing suites. We're currently enrolling students for our September 21st start date. This week, our cameras are focused on the heart and soul of our one-year filmmaking program, our experienced faculty, each with a working background in the film business and an incredible passion for sharing what they know with the next generation. Today's special guest is one of the founders of MPI and its president, writer, director, producer, Doug Schulze. Here's your host, MPI's marketing specialist, Sarah Mahmood.
Hi, everyone. I'm joined here by Doug Schulze today, and he is one of the co-founders of MPI, and we couldn't be more excited to have him here because he has a wealth of experience, not only as a filmmaker himself, but he also teaches, and he's paved the way for so many students who are now out there in the industry as filmmakers, and they're doing fantastic work. Doug, can you tell us a little bit more about your own background and what classes you're teaching at MPI?
Yeah, sure. Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me. Well, I teach the film directing classes here at the Motion Picture Institute. We cover the aesthetic and technical aspects of film directing. Students prepare and make their short films in my classes. Over the course of the year, there are 4 directing classes and 3 film projects. Students will produce a non-dialogue short film to start with, to showcase telling stories with images, not words, because we're in a visual medium. So that's very important. Then as second semester rolls in, we bring in dialogue, and then you find students working with actors. We hold open auditions, and we begin to synergize with the acting community here in Michigan. And then as third and fourth semesters evolve, we find the students preparing their ambitious year-end thesis films. And these films actually get premiered at a movie theater at the year's end. And it's a real exciting sort of graduation ceremony / film festival. So my classes are really sort of the gateway for that filmmaking to happen. And, in addition, I want the students, directors to leave the school feeling that they've developed their own unique cinematic styles. So these directing classes help them find their cinematic voice.
That's a great point. Voice is important to find, to nurture. In order to be able to tell a story, you have to put that voice against visual imagery and be able to create an experience for people to feel as they're watching your work. And speaking of your work, Doug, can you tell us more about what you've done over the years? And there's one story I particularly really enjoy hearing, and it's about, your first film that you worked on, and you were a student back in the day, and that got picked up by HBO.
Yeah. Well, that was back in the day, right? I've been an independent filmmaker for over 25 years. I direct independent films. I've done some music video work and even some commercial work, but I'm primarily considered a genre filmmaker. And my films are made outside of the studio system. The films I've made have sold to Lionsgate, Starz. They've aired on Netflix, Showtime, Redbox. I've had the pleasure over the years to work with some iconic Hollywood actors. David Carradine, the late David Carradine, Dee Wallace, Lance Hendrickson. Our first film, for instance, I think I was 23 at the time, when we made this film. But one of the fond memories I had was we were shooting inside a century-old asylum. And this place was back in Pontiac, Michigan, called the Clinton Valley Center. And I had the honor of working with an actor by the name of John Saxon. And I'll never forget, it was 4 a.m. We had wrapped, and we were sitting inside a padded cell. How metaphorical, right, of our crazy industry. And I'll never forget John talking with me, telling stories of how he worked with Bruce Lee, on Enter the Dragon, and just sharing stories like that with iconic actors over time, was one of the rewards, I guess, of being in this business as an independent filmmaker.
That's a great story for us to hear. And I'm sure our viewers who are sitting at home watching this are curious to know, what makes MPI unique? You've already touched on some great points like that hands-on education, the storytelling ability, and that pipeline from your classes into, the film festival world. But is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
Well, yeah, I think what makes MPI unique is that it was designed by working industry filmmakers, not theorists. All of the MPI instructors that we have teaching at the school have impressive credentials as filmmakers. The screenwriting teacher has sold screenplays, for films that have been produced for Hallmark Channel and, whatnot. Our producing teacher, held an esteemed studio executive job at Sony Columbia Pictures. Every teacher here at MPI is a working industry professional, whether it's, Jeremy Schroeder, who was a lead crew member on Law and Order for over a decade. So all of our staff work in the business and they're connected to the biz. And that's where we make the difference, because as our students graduate, we can sort of serve and help them find their way into the industry and help employ them. So that's sort of where that channel of networking and employment opportunities comes in, because you're learning from working industry professionals that are connected in the industry. So if you ask me what's unique, I'd say it's a hands-on program designed, delivered by film industry professionals.
And that's a great point. At the end of the day, when you think about trying to make it in the real world and you're a student, there's no one better to learn from than people who are already out there working day in and out, and they understand the industry because they're a part of it. A lot of times when people are considering film school, or even if they're a current student and they're enrolled, they're already thinking about, what they want to do when they've mastered their technical skills. Is there any advice that you can give people who are out there in terms of how they can set themselves up for success?
We get asked that a lot. And, what's interesting is I think, what makes for a successful grad, those who work and succeed in our industry are kind of cut from a unique cloth. Once you enroll at MPI and you come here and you kind of know it, you sort of fall into this family. There's this communal feeling. Those that are going to succeed tend to see film in the film industry, and that's all they see. You know what I mean? They put community and commitment and opportunity first. They're not afraid to start out as a production assistant. You do have to pay some dues in the business. And there are no overnight successes in the business. It's hard work, but it's fun work and it's rewarding work. And, I couldn't find any other path in life for myself. I knew at a young age I wanted to be a filmmaker. And so I set out and I charted that course, and I learned what was an independent filmmaker. And that's the path that I chose. So if you're asking, what is and makes a successful MPI grad, I would say it's those same characteristics, understanding you have a passion and then following through with it. And honestly, there are a lot of DIYs out there today, do-it-yourselfers. But the concern and the caution, the note of caution I give to those is, sometimes four-year education may not be necessary, but some education and mentorship is really important. And so our unique one-year program, I think, is that perfect run length, for those that are interested in getting in the biz. Yeah.
You're right. And what a lot of our alum end up reflecting on when talking about their MPI experience is the fact that it is quick. It's only 1 year. You learn about all of the technology that's being used in the industry, and you've already, you've been tinkering it with it from the beginning. We have all these videos on our website where you can see all the way from day 3 up until the end. You are on set, and we are also now online. Doug, would you like to tell our audience a little bit about how we're also online now?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, MPI has a blended program, and in this day and age, we've always had the strength of intimate class sizes. There was no other way for us ever. We were never a school, and we've never been a school about doing mass numbers, thousands of students. We wouldn't know what to do with thousands of students. MPI class sizes are intimate and they're small. And it just so happens in this day and age with all this uncertainty that intimate class sizes are now the thing, and you put those intimate class sizes into our massive, well-ventilated sound stages, and you've got a great open classroom concept that's safe and perfect. You've got a film school in your backyard mentality. And then you add to that the fact that we have now brought our programming online, to make sort of a perfect blended curriculum. So some of the lecture classes can now be taken online, and then you come to the school for the hands-on element. And so it makes for an extremely safe and a well-rounded education.
For a lot of people who are out there today, that's a really good combination. Again, they're getting the hands-on. There's an online component that's now available. Safety is being prioritized, and all of that technology is available to them. There's nothing extra to purchase. Everything's provided to you, and you have an amazing, background as an instructor, as do all of our other instructors. And for people who are enrolled right now, all of them will attest that shows through in the classroom. So Doug, thank you for, reiterating some of that, for sharing your own background, and for inspiring future filmmakers who are watching this.
Thank you so much. And I hope to see you on set this fall.
Enrollment for the fall is now underway for both our full-year production program and our exciting new MPI Actor Studio workshops, the Motion Picture Institute, now online and on set and accredited. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to wrap it up by joining some MPI students hard at work on our fabulous soundstage.
Oh, forgot the lens cap. There we go.
Hey, wait up!
I am working. Okay, guys, roll sound, please. Here we go. Pictures up. Rolling.
Scene 1, take 7, marker.
And action! I wasn't sure how to turn my creativity into a career until I started film school. My name is Sydney, and for 4 years in college, I really didn't know what to do until I found MPI. Now, I'm making my own movies, and I wouldn't trade the on-set experience for anything else in the world. MPI has been launching film careers for over 20 years. Are you ready to start yours?